Winning Best Picture at the Oscars is supposed to be a mark of cinematic excellence, a film that stands the test of time, a true masterpiece. But sometimes the Academy completely fumbles the ball. Whether it's political maneuvering, playing it safe, or just plain bad taste, some Best Picture winners leave us scratching our heads. Today, we're breaking down some of the worst Best Picture winners in Oscar history. Films that were either undeserving, outdated, or outright mediocre. Shakespeare in Love. Shakespeare in Love is a whimsical, fictionalized take on a young William Shakespeare who finds inspiration for Romeo and Juliet through a forbidden romance with Viola de Lesseps, an aristocratic woman disguising herself as a man to act in his play. It's a playful period piece, full of winks at Shakespearean history and theatrical in-jokes. Shakespeare in Love isn't necessarily a bad movie. Still, it's one of the most controversial wins in Oscar history, mainly because it won the award over Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan, a film widely regarded as one of the greatest war movies ever made. How did that happen? 2 words: Harvey Weinstein. His aggressive, borderline unethical Oscar campaign redefined the way movies are pushed during awards season, using backroom deals, smear tactics, and relentless lobbying to sway Academy voters. It set a precedent for how marketing, not necessarily quality, could win Best Picture. And while Shakespeare in Love is a fun romantic film, it doesn't belong in the same category as The Godfather. Crash, 2004. A drama about intersecting lives in Los Angeles, Crash explores racism through a series of loosely connected stories. An affluent white couple, a black detective, a Persian store owner, and a racist cop, among others, all experience moments of prejudice, redemption, and irony. It's an attempt at an important social commentary, showing how racism is everywhere and everyone is affected by it. Crash is the ultimate example of an Oscar bait film, one that tries so hard to be profound but ends up being shallow and contrived. It tackles racism with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer, reducing complex issues to melodramatic encounters in preachy monologues. The dialogue often feels forced, and characters don't behave like real people, but rather like mouthpieces for the script's heavy-handed message. What makes this win even worse is that Crash won over Brokeback Mountain, a groundbreaking and deeply human love story that would have been a landmark win for LGBTQ cinema. Instead, the Academy went with the safer, more digestible race drama, a decision many saw as cowardly. Green Book. Based on a true story, Green Book follows the unlikely friendship between Dr. Don Shirley, a world-class black pianist, and his white driver, Tony Lip, as they travel through the segregated South in the 1960s. Over the course of their journey, Tony learns not to be racist, while Dr. Shirley is reduced to a sidekick in his own story. If you ever needed an example of the white savior trope in full force, Green Book is it. Instead of centering on Don Shirley, an extraordinary musician who navigated racism with grace, the film is mostly about how a white man overcame his own ignorance. Worse, Shirley's actual family denounced the film, calling it inaccurate and misleading. Green Book won over Roma, Alfonso Cuarón's breathtaking masterpiece about class and womanhood in Mexico, proving that the Academy still prefers feel-good narratives over truly meaningful storytelling. Driving Miss Daisy. A reverse Green Book movie where an elderly Jewish woman, Daisy Worden, is forced to hire a black chauffeur, Hope Colburn, after she crashes her car. Over decades, their employer-employee relationship evolves into a supposed friendship. Set against the backdrop of changing racial attitudes in the South, another prime example of Hollywood's love for racial reconciliation stories told through a white lens, Driving Miss Daisy is a comforting, non-threatening take on racism that focuses on individual prejudice rather than systemic injustice. It won Best Picture in a year when Do the Right Thing, an actually relevant, fiery, and groundbreaking film on race relations, was completely snubbed from the category. The Academy once again rewarded a movie about racism without actually challenging its audience. American Beauty. On the surface, American Beauty is a darkly comedic drama about Lester Burnham, a suburban man experiencing a midlife crisis. Disillusioned with his marriage and job, he becomes obsessed with his teenage daughter's best friend, leading to a spiral of dysfunction, deceit, and tragedy. Hailed as a masterpiece in 1999, American Beauty has not aged well at all. Between its problematic depiction of predatory behavior and the fact that Kevin Spacey was later accused of sexual misconduct, the film is now deeply uncomfortable to watch. Add in its pseudo-intellectual take on suburban life, and what was once seen as profound now feels like a dated, try-hard critique of American society. So, there you have it, the worst Best Picture winners of all time. Do you agree? Which one do you think was the most undeserving? Let me know in the comments.